Hello, friends. My name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield, and I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. So what I'd like to do right away, right off the get-go, is I want to read from Psalm 139, verses 1 to 14. Yes, 14 verses. I think you can do it with me. Hang in there. Actually, these verses are quite famous. You've probably heard many of them before, but I want you to hear these verses all together, and then I want to share with you something that I talked about with our students here at Cornerstone this past Wednesday night. Okay, here we are, Psalm 139, verse 1 through 14. It says, "O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all of my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. And if I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light becomes night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. And here it is, I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well." Perhaps you've heard those words of King David read and said, and maybe you've read them yourself several times over. I asked our students on Wednesday night, when we were talking about this tough topic called self-image, I asked them, I read that verse, Psalm 139:14, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I said to them, don't raise your hands, but how many of you could, in your heart and in your mind, truthfully say that you could go home and go in your closet or go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and you could look at what's looking back at you yourself and you could say, I praise you, God, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. How many of you could honestly say that? And my guess is that most of those students, and even the adults that were in that room that night, would say they wouldn't be able to do it. And here's why. Because there is a negative self-image. How we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, how others see us, how others perceive us. It is extremely negative in our culture. The majority of people, when they look in the mirror, they don't like what they see. The majority of people, when they consider their personality, when they consider their intellect, when they even consider their skills and what they can do and can't do, when they consider their morals, their values and their principles, when they put all of that together and they consider their self-image, the majority of people have a very negative self-image. They don't like what they see, and they don't like what they understand about themselves. And the question that needs to be asked is, why is that? Why is it that most people in our culture think negatively about themselves and look at themselves negatively? Well, I think it's because of what we're influenced by. You see, I think David was able to pen these words that I praise you, God, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I believe he was able to pen those words way back then because his number one influence was God himself. You see, our self-image shouldn't just be made up of what I think of myself or how I see myself. And it shouldn't just be made up of how others see me or what they understand about me. But my self-image better be influenced by the God who designed me, the God who created me, who created every part of me from the inside to the outside. He should have great influence on how I see myself and how I understand myself, don't you think? But the reality is, as we talked about Wednesday night, is our main influence, if we're honest, isn't God. It's not his holy and perfect word that he's given us. Instead, and unfortunately, our main influence is this. It's this. It's what technology tells us. It's what social media tells us. Or it's what others tell us. or it's even what we tell ourselves. It's not the God and the designer who created us. So friends, my challenge for you today is, would you turn off some of the things, some of the negative voices in your life, whether it's on social media or it's another person perhaps that you just need to tune out from for a while? And would you allow the voice of God to have more say and more influence in your life? Because then perhaps then you'd be able to look in that mirror and you'd be able to say, I praise you, God, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Let that be a challenge to you and to me today. And have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.